Hi everybody, it's me, Mrs. Kowalski, here to read another book to you. This one's called The Three Questions, and the three questions are: when is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? These are three pretty big questions. So I want you, while you're reading, to think about what big questions loom in your mind. So what questions, are in your mind that you kind of wish you could get an answer for? And this is based on a story by Leo Tolstoy. He's a famous Russian author. But the story is written and illustrated by Jon Muth. Okay, Jon Muth. The three questions. Again, remember, think about some questions. Maybe put a Post-it out. Put a Post-it so that if a question pops into your mind, you can jot it down, and when you're done, you can share it with a partner in class. Oh, the dedication is for Nikolai. And one of my questions is, who is Nikolai? I wonder who Nikolai is to the author. It's a question from me. The questions in this story, though, are a little bigger, not so simple. But, any kind of questions, generating questions is a good thing. So there once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. I can relate to that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my three questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. So there is Nikolai, and there are some of his friends, right? And he's thinking and thinking and thinking, as we sometimes often do. So his three questions, which are on the back as well, right? His three questions are: when is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? These are very big questions. So these are his friends. Okay, so here are the questions listed again on this page. And then here are his friends. And as you can see, each friend had a different response. And I don't know about you, but, you hear from this one, hear from this one, hear from this one. Kind of makes the question a little bit more questioning. So let's see what his friends had to say. Nikolai's friends considered the first question. Then Sonia, the heron is a bird. Sonia, the heron, spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance. Okay. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, you will know when to do things if you watch and pay good attention. So you will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Okay. Then Pushkin, the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, you can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. So three differing perspectives, three differing pieces of advice, three things for Nikolai to consider. So that was to the question, when is the best time to do things? When is the best time to do things? Nikolai thought for a moment, and then he asked a second question. Who is the most important one? So here he is. Look, Gogol has the coconut. He must have caught it or moved and grabbed it when it fell. Right? So they're all kind of standing around. Nikolai is still thinking, still pondering. And his second question was, who was the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up to the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Oh, I guess the coconut fell on him. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. So we already saw them thinking. Now we are looking at their responses. Again, 3 differing opinions, 3 differing answers, 3 different things to consider. So Nikolai is left to consider each friend's thoughts. Nikolai thought some more, and then he asked the 3rd question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, said Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. So there they are. And there they are giving Nikolai the answer to the 3rd question. What is the right thing to do? Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions. But their answers didn't feel or seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, I thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He's lived a very long time, and surely he will know the answers that I am looking for. So here's Nikolai, still thinking about all those answers. Still thinking, and he finally says, he said those answers didn't seem right to him. So he moves on to yet another friend, and he hiked high up to the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. So there's Nikolai heading up the mountain. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging in a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions I came to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? There he is, asking Leo the question. Oh, I should say the questions. Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said. At last, let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until all the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from the darkened clouds. As they moved towards the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. So here's Nikolai helping Leo. And then here is when the rain came and they were going to head in, but Nikolai heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. So here's Nikolai running down the path, and there is where he finds the panda in trouble. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows, and the panda woke up. Where am I? She said, and where is my child? Now, there is Nikolai, taking that panda into Leo's house. And there is Leo and Nikolai taking care of the panda. And look at Leo's face. He's like, where's your child? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So the boy ran out of the cottage, down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further and further into the forest. Then he found the panda's child cold and shivering on the ground. So there's Nikolai running through that woods with the storm continuing. And there is the little panda, shivering and cold. The little panda was wet and scared but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry and then laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. So there is Nikolai giving back the baby panda to its mama. And there is Leo taking care of Nikolai. I feel like there might be some answers to questions happening with this. The next morning, the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He had not found the answers to his 3 questions. So he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" said the boy. So here's everybody doing well. And there's his other friends coming to check up, right? And there, the boy is left. We have the answer. Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time is the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was help me in my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby. The most important thing to do was to help take care of them and make them safe. Remember then that there's only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. And so, Nikolai finally got his answers. And the last lines of the story say, "This is why we are here." So Leo's answer to that was, right, the most important thing is now, right? And the most important person is who you are with. And the most important thing is to try to do the best you can for who you're with. So there really is no specific answer, right, for that. But I would be interested to hear some of your thoughts and questions that you might have. Maybe they're thoughts and questions about this story. Maybe they're thoughts and questions about life. Maybe they're thoughts and questions about school. Maybe they're thoughts and questions about friends and family. So take a couple of minutes and see if you can jot down a couple of questions and see if you can take some time to talk with people, friends in class, your teacher, and see if you can come to an answer. Thanks for listening.